Well, right now, my Adderall's kicked in, so that's why I'm so serious.
Listen, bitch. I'm the mean queen. I want to tell you all my problems and get your feedback.
Well, maybe, call a therapist. Are you sure you want to go there? Because once you cross that line, we can't go back. I have such pretty eyes. Oh my God, you're so cute. You're so pretty. People also don't understand comedians are like the worst people to want to meet in real life. They're all depressed.
Yeah, we're all
like everyone's always like, I want to date a comedian guy. I'm like, are you joking? He'll ruin your life. That guy's probably a sociopath. No offense.
So you're saying?
Look, it says DI for Daddy Issues.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. That was molded after my ass.
Really?
No.
It looks like it.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, so you're depressed because you were doing tax?
No, that's not why I was depressed. I think people get that really wrong.
You were getting bullied.
Yeah.
How do you let tax nerds bully you, though?
Yeah, that's a really good question.
I think Am I the first person to point that out? Do you let tax nerds
first of all, I work for a
you?
really large public accounting firm.
Okay.
The rules are completely different.
Oh,
not
so it's like business taxes.
It's like a real business.
Yeah.
And it's there's like a lot of rules. You don't mess around, and I wanted to be a partner.
Yeah.
I definitely have. Well, right now, my Adderall's kicked in, so that's why I'm so serious.
No, I love this. I'm good at talking.
Well, I always talk fast.
Yeah.
It's actually really hard for me when I also take Adderall, because my brain generally works really fast, and doctors have told me that. So Adderall does make it a little harder to communicate with people.
Yeah.
Because it works really fast, and then sometimes I also talk really fast, and on Adderall I want to talk even faster, so I have to slow down. Like right now as I'm speaking, is me slowing it down.
Oh, that's good. I like
this.
But
it's crazy. Like when my dad calls me and he'll be like, Violeta, and he'll be like, so.
Oh,
I was thinking, I was like, Dad, get to the point, I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
By the time he finished the story, and he's like, the sky is, I'm like, blue, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's brutal. My dad
But then
talks
I
slow
think
too.
about the fact that, one day your parents are gonna die, so I'm gonna miss those moments. So then I feel bad.
Yeah.
So then I get back to being nice. I'm like, Dad, tell me the slowest story you have. I appreciate it. Please.
Yeah, I always try and finish my dad's sentences, and then he's like, no. I'm like, well, then just say it faster.
Right. Well, one day he's going to die.
Yeah. Well, thanks for the reminder. I'll text him.
No, here's a really good story that I've seen before.
Okay.
On either a TED Talk or a podcast. The story goes, this guy was talking about, it was more like during the pandemic, but he was talking to whoever he was interviewing, and maybe someone's interviewing him, and you were just like, okay, so how often do you see your parents? And the guy goes,
I know exactly what story this is and exactly what interview this is.
Exactly.
But wait, finish it for them though.
Right.
Yeah.
And the guy goes, I see my dad once a year. And he goes, okay, great. Then he goes, how old is your dad? And maybe he said 65. He goes, okay, let's say your dad has 10 more years left until he's 75. So that's 10 years. Once a year, you have, so if you really put in calculation, you have 10 more times to see your dad before he passes away.
Oh, yeah.
So when you put in that type of way, you realize like, okay, shit, I'm counting down until it'll be the last time I'm going to see this person, because that's one thing we don't realize. Like every person you'll ever meet in your life, you have a last time you're going to see them. You just don't know, whether it's your family, whether it's a partner, a friend, whatever. Everyone has an expiration date, a last time. You just don't know when, including your family. But our families is usually the ones we take the most for granted because they're just always around, at least for people who have good relationships with them. So then once you realize, like, shit, I only have 10 more times I'm going to see my dad before he's gone, it kind of makes you want to appreciate that person more.
That's sad.
Right?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Even thinking about it now, something makes
I see my dad way
parents.
more than once a year, though.
Pardon?
I see my dad more than once a year, though.
Okay, so let's say you have 20 more times. It's still
sad. Yeah, no, it's sad. Where do your parents live?
Pardon?
In New York?
No. I don't know what people think of from New York.
Maybe I'm stereotyping you.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
Russia.
Oh, you were actually from Russia?
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. And did your parents live in Russia?
No, we grew up in Israel. Back then during communism, they kicked us out for being Jews.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's fine. So then we moved to Israel. When I was 1, we moved to Israel. It's when communism was finally over and they opened the borders. So we were allowed to leave and not come back. That's kind of the thing. Like back then, if you left Russia, you're not allowed to come back.
Holy shit.
And you have to pay, like, especially if you're a Jew, you have to pay a fee for them to take away your citizenship.
Maybe somebody should call them and be like, that's anti-Semitic. Do they know they're being anti-Semitic?
I think Russians really don't care.
I think we should
how
cancel
they
them.
act. Well, no, I don't think we should. I think people overreact. Like, people have so much anger nowadays. Like, when everything was happening between Russia and Ukraine, they were literally in America beating up kids who are Russian descent and like kicking them off of buses. And
they were doing that like 2 days ago.
These kids never even been to Russia. What? Like, it's like, okay, we get it. Your dad probably beats you at home and you need to take your anger out on someone. Go boxing.
Yeah.
Don't take it on the random Russian kid. People like overdo it nowadays. That's what's so alarming and scary sometimes. Everyone's so angry now, and I get it. Like,
yeah, it's kind of like during 9/11. After 9/11, people were beating up Middle Eastern people.
Like Sikh people.
Yeah, they're like, I'm literally from India. It's like not even. Yeah. It's like 10 countries Sikh, over.
But they see that they don't care. They don't. And they pretend it's like I forgot the word for it, but they're not actually passionate about what's happening in the world. They just need to be angry.
It's like a form of like a virtue signal. You know what I mean? I have this theory that both sides on the political spectrum virtue signal, and there's Karens on both sides. There's liberal Karens and conservative Karens. And I think the liberal Karens are worse than conservative Karens because conservative Karens can only be evil like half the day, and then they have to raise their family half the day. And then the liberal Karens murdered their babies, so they have nothing but time to be evil.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and not get into that. I just don't. You know how this is like, I literally saw this on TikTok. Somebody was just like, did you see what is happening on the news? And the other person goes, no, I just feel so happy today. And they're like, but don't you want to know what's happening? And he's like, no, that's why I'm so happy today.
I saw that.
So he's like, well, are you going to watch the news tomorrow? And they're like, not if I want to be happy. And that's kind of just how I vibe.
It's so true.
Like, plus the only way a lot of people who do what we do to be able, well, at least my whole spiel is about, finding your purpose and understanding your self-worth, loving yourself, relationship and things like that. So I'm not going to dive into politics, other things where I know there's people on both sides. I think a lot of people kind of...
Right, you don't want to put off like half the people.
For what? A long time ago when I started this, my agents told me, unless you're insanely passionate about something, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And I really agree with it.
My thing is always what's funny. Like, funny is above everything. Right?
Yeah.
And so like I'll make fun of everybody on every side because it's always what's funny. It's like if you're only like on one side of something like politically, you're just kind of like you're cutting yourself off to like half the funny shit in the world too.
And the worst is like what kills me now is when I see like I have a friend who's a therapist, a licensed therapist.
Yeah.
He does it for a living, gives advice, and then he'll also post his opinion.
Yeah.
Because we're allowed to do that. People forget that. And now, even on my podcast, if I interview someone and their opinion differs, they'll be like, it's without them actually saying it, people will be like, hey, I just need to tell you, the guests that you had on, their advice is actually very harmful, and you should make sure not to have. And I'm like, who is it harming?
Shut up.
Like, you're literally saying that people no longer have their own, not opinions, like the people are too stupid to figure things out for themselves.
Right.
That's literally what you're trying to say. Like nothing is harmful. Like stop using words of saying like, well, this is harmful. No, it's not. It just it's like, hey, this doesn't align with my personal experience.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna need you to go ahead and delete your account and go kill it. People will literally be like, hey, these words are harmful, so why don't you go and kill your whole family and kill yourself, you fucking disgusting skank bitch slut. And then you go on their profile and it's like vegan.
Yeah.
Vegan, God first, or whatever. And you're cool.
It's fucking crazy. Also, like, don't, what's the word you're looking for? It's like pageantrized. When you just assume everyone's like a fucking moron, it's like, don't assume people are more, like, just let people think for themselves. Like, just let opinions be out there and let people think for themselves.
Again.
Even though there is a lot of fucking dumb people.
It's not people thinking. It's not people actually caring
Yeah.
about. People always comment even on my Instagram. Sometimes if they don't agree, even though I don't really get that much hate, sometimes depending on which guest I have. When it's my own advice, normally it's the only people that are ever mean to me, it's usually men, which is so odd, but maybe because my audience is mostly female.
Yeah.
But when people get upset about something, I genuinely don't think it's because they really care about, well, what about the kids? And you're a bad influence for younger people, blah, blah, when you're like, younger people don't follow me, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
It's more about, I want to matter.
Yeah.
And now we live in a society where social media is the it thing. Like, literally, you interview kids and what do you want to do when you grow up? Instead of being doctor, astronaut, they're like, I want to be a YouTuber, I want to be Logan Paul.
Yeah.
So that it's like this thing of like, I matter, I want to matter, so my opinion should matter. So now when they go and comment on a celebrity's Instagram, it's kind of like, hey, pay attention to me, I'm important.
Yeah.
And that's where it's really coming from. So it's not really about, oh, I care so much about your opinion is harmful for other people. It's kind of like, I matter, listen to me. Versus being like, oh, this is a random person's platform. Why do I care so much to let them know that I don't agree with them?
And often they just want to get a response too. They just want to know that you're seeing it and reading it. And
Yeah,
then
they
as
want
soon
to
as you
feel
respond,
seen.
they'll feel good.
So it comes from an inner place. A lot of people just don't feel seen now.
Yeah.
And if people realize, if instead of attacking everyone, it's like they're all experiencing the same issue. Where a lot of people now feel depressed. They feel sad. They don't feel seen. And they also, we live in a first world country, many of us, America. People don't come from third world countries, second world countries. So they don't realize how privileged we actually are.
Oh, absolutely.
To sit around and think about how sad we are.
Yeah.
Back then, cave people, they didn't have time to think, am I depressed today?
I think in society, because of the internet and because of the way everything's structured, there's never been more of a desire from every individual to be famous, seen, and heard. Not only desire, but an expectation. And there's never been less opportunity to actually, like, every human being wants to be the hero of their story. Every human beings have an innate power struggle. So, like, because when back in the day, like in caveman days, they used to have to hunt. There used to be opportunities for a man to rise up and become valuable. And now there's no power struggles to overcome. There's nothing that anybody has to overcome. Like, if you're somewhat intelligent and you're willing to just punch a clock every day, you almost have to do nothing for all your basic needs to be met in a first world country. It requires no struggle. So because there is no opportunity for you to validate your existence, there's such a gap between that.
Well, there's a chart. There's basically, I have to look into it because it's actually really fascinating and I didn't want to look into the research. But there's a chart that kind of tells you based on the emotional struggles and, like, basically if all your basic needs are fulfilled in the chart is where it kind of crosses over for people to start worrying about other things. Like, am I sad today? Am I depressed? There was like literal actual research because I read a lot about these things. That's how I talk about it on my podcast. Even though my degrees are in accounting and business law, I'm very interested in psychology and I want to get a PhD in it when I'm older. But anyway, there's research that showed they went to poor neighborhoods and they wanted to see how many people were depressed, and they went to rich neighborhoods, how many people were depressed. And the research showed that there were much higher percentage of depressed people in rich neighborhoods.
Oh, yeah.
So then the question came and they said, are rich people more depressed? Like, are they struggling more? No, because poor people, every day they woke up and they're like, my life sucks, but I have to figure out how to support my family. I don't have time to think about this. I need to go make a living so I can put some food on the table for my kids. While rich neighborhoods, these people have more time to sit around to think about their feelings, to be like, am I depressed? Should I go to therapy? Wait, I'm not on a constant high of happiness. Oh, something must be wrong. No, you're experiencing emotions. No one can be happy all the time, and no one can be also sad all the time. No matter how much people think, I will never get over this. This is the worst feeling I'll ever. No, it will get better. That's all emotions are this way. Now people think if I'm not on a constant high, I feel a little bored with my life, then something's wrong. That's why a lot of comedians or celebrities in general also commit suicide. And then other people look and they're like, I don't get it. You have, quote unquote, everything. Why were you so sad? It's because they have so much, they're depressed now because they don't know how to. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, also a lot of people who get success very quick and easy often are the most depressed too.
Yeah, I can see that. That makes a lot of sense.
You posted a video recently that I really liked when you were talking about something about love and twin flames and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I thought that was pretty good. I thought that was well thought out.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, the episode did really well. I was really surprised. I always think when it's great.
Can you explain to them sort of like the
So I had a recent episode when I was going through my own thoughts and going through a little bit of a heartbreak, a friendship breakup, and parting ways with my partner. And because I write my episodes, especially if they're solo. So I wrote an episode called Four Ways to Self-Love, and I kind of decided what are the ways, because it was every month on my podcast, Almost Adulting, I have a new topic that I talk about, and the month of July, the topic was love and relationships and dating. And the episode was actually supposed to be about the beginning stages of dating and what happens. But because I was going through heartbreak at the time, I decided to completely redo my episode. So for 2 weeks, I was writing about it, just trying to understand the emotions I was going through. And that's why the episode ended up being like, maybe it's not about finding your person, and it's not about all that. Like, maybe you have to find yourself. So that's how the episode completely changed. And it was 4 ways to self-love. It was kind of like, what if you're the love of your life? Like, what if, because a lot of times people also act like, not act, but people say, well, your best friends are your soulmates because they said about Sex and the City. But I don't even think that's the case, because you're still depending on people for your self-fulfillment and for your happiness. And that's normally why we end up being so disappointed. The only person in your life for the rest of your life who will not let you down, hopefully, and will always love you even at your lowest, it has to be you. Because if you don't love yourself, who else will? It has to start with you. I'm not saying every day you wake up and you just have to be like, I fucking love myself so much.
Right.
You know, that's unrealistic. And that's another thing.
There's a lot of self-help books that'll say that you gotta go in the mirror and say, I love you and all that shit.
No, it does help, but people get mixed up between confidence and self-love and loving your looks and your body. People think if you're confident, because you like what you see. A lot of times I wake up, I don't like what I see. I don't really like photos of myself. I still get self-conscious in videos of myself. Like right now, I hate this video of me. Like, I don't have to see it.
No, you're gonna look great.
Thank you so much. I'm not saying this so you give me a compliment. I'm just being honest. But the point is, it doesn't mean I don't love myself. You have to just...
Yeah, one time I woke up and in the middle of the night, and I went to go to the bathroom, and I turned on the light and I looked in the mirror. I'm like, this guy again?
Yeah.
I'm like, holy. I'm 99.999% of the time, I'm fucking like, hell yeah, dude, this guy's sick. But one time I'm like, whoa, I'm really this guy every day.
Yeah.
That's kind of a wild thing to think about. I know it sounds dumb, but that's like a wild thing to think about.
Yeah, I think I'm sure people experience that more times than that.
Yeah, especially people that suck too.
A lot of times people that suck don't even know they suck.
Are you
No, they know.
Yeah, they know.
Usually if someone's really mean or shitty, you're like, oh, your life must be really hard. That actually happened to me. I had a show, my first show ever.
Yeah, so I want to talk about this too,
at the Hollywood Improv.
First of all, like, I told you this online, like, that is so fucking crazy. You just went on stage with a mic by yourself with no real game plan for an hour and a half. That's fucking crazy. I've been doing stand-up like 10 years, and I would never dream of doing something like that. That's fucking wild. That means you clearly can talk, because...
I'm a talker, yeah. No, but towards the end, I was just like, oh my God, how much longer? And finally, they're like trying to flash the light to me, because no one told me the game plan that they flash the light.
Right.
So they finally flashed the light, and I was
You did the main room?
Yeah.
And did you sell it out?
I think I had I was only selling my tickets for like a week. I think it was very intimate for my pockets. It was only 150 people.
That's amazing.
It didn't feel like 150, but I think to sell out it's like 170.
Yeah, that's insane.
It is cool that my agent got that for me.
Yeah.
I don't think I had an understanding of like the Hollywood Improv being a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
But
Sold
I think
out.
it was
main
good.
room. And you did the main room. I thought you were going to be doing the lab. You did the main room. That's a big deal.
I don't even know where the other room is.
The room's a little shitty side room that sucks.
I've never
It's like
seen
seats
it.
like 50 people.
Oh, yeah, I wish I did that. But but yeah, so anyway, so when I finally finished, I had to do a meet and greet afterwards for an hour and a half or 2 hours, something like that, outside. And this one girl waited outside for an hour. First of all, I went 30 minutes over. It's really late now. Then she waits another hour just to meet me in the line. She finally gets to meet me. And, you know, I'm going through all the nerves. Like, I'm so dead inside, but I think that's a normal thing when you finish a show. Apparently, you're just so, like, drained.
Yeah, it's like an adrenaline dump a little bit.
Yeah, and you're just like, and then, you know, every person comes over, and you have to be, wait, can I sit on the other side?
Yeah.
So, because
That's going to be a recurring
Right,
theme
left.
for every female guest I have.
No, it's because I'm deaf in my left ear.
Oh, really?
So then I always just have to really go like this to hear you. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, I think it's a dyslexic thing. A lot of dyslexic people have hearing impairment.
You do?
Yeah.
Dyslexic people have hearing? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, now I think everyone has something. I mean, I don't even like to say anything I have because then it's like, I feel bad for saying this, but I hate when people self-diagnose themselves but now there's a trend on TikTok where everyone's autistic.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's trying to have a disability right now on TikTok, right? That's the thing. People do
And
have
it's
fake
like
disabilities.
and these girls are like,
interesting.
do you have an issue making eye contact when you talk to people?
Yeah.
You might be autistic. No, you have social anxiety like every normal human being.
Also, I think when it comes to like social anxiety and like awkward and all this stuff, there was this, you know, we're millennials, right? So it was almost glorified to be socially awkward coming up because of The Office, and it's just like, hey, now that we're adults, we have to just learn how to be social and not put it on everyone else. You know what I mean?
Do people put it on other people?
Of course, people love to just be like awkward and put it on other people.
Oh, I don't know. I don't experience.
Or people just like they celebrate their awkwardness. I'm like,
Me.
no.
I celebrate my
What are you
awkwardness.
talking about? You're
Well, I don't
totally
have social cues, so I feel like that's really helped me.
You're a hot chick though, so hot chicks can get away with that shit though.
Yeah, but I wasn't always hot, or like I didn't know that I was growing up, so that's why I have such a great personality. It's ugly duckling syndrome.
That's good. That's like such a blessing, isn't it?
Honestly, it really is. Yeah. But I genuinely don't have social anxiety. In accounting, I used to have a problem with knowing when the conversation was over.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just stick around. So every 2-3 months, they give you a review, and they review your work and your personality. That's like how serious public accounting firms are.
Wow.
And it will be like my personality will be reviewed. I had too much energy that I should get a medication, hence why I started to take Adderall. So that's why HR got involved. Like, you're not allowed to tell someone to get a medication. It's illegal. And also it would be like Violetta's too sarcastic and no one can understand when she's joking or not. And then B, Violetta doesn't know when to leave the conversation. She needs to work on that. So then, because like the conversation will be over, and I'll just, because I was too sarcastic and I was always leaving without telling people I'm walking out of the conversation because I have no cues.
Yeah.
So I'll be done with the conversation, I just leave. So then they told me to not do that. So then now it was just me, like, I finish like taking the notes from one of the partners, and I'll be like, and then it's all of us just going like, Violetta, you can go. Oh, okay, thank you. And then it was like, Violetta doesn't know when to leave the room. I was like, which one is it? What do you want from me?
You're like a real Office character.
I love it though. But when I was younger, to help me with my social anxiety in high school, I trained myself I started going to parties by myself.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
And that was a way to kind of train me. And I think once you realize,
Or you can drink a bunch.
I don't drink.
Nice, me neither.
Yeah, but like by choice.
Yeah, I don't drink by
Oh,
choice
okay, cool.
either.
I just assume you used to be.
Well, I'm an alcoholic. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I quit because I'm an alcoholic.
Yeah.
It's still my choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could drink if I wanted to.
Right, but you don't know when to stop.
No.
Right.
Yeah. I could sometimes drink normal, and then sometimes it's like noon the next day and I'm doing cocaine.
Oh, I've never done cocaine.
Good. You know, I don't want to see you on cocaine. You be real chatty on cocaine.
But I take Adderall like a real grown-up.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, this girl waits a forking hour to meet me. I'm trying to be as polite as possible. I'm tired, but and plus, I didn't even know what my show was going to be about. Like, it's my first show, nerves, all that. I mean, no one tells you when you do a show on stage. I was shaking at first. And I'm a pretty good public speaker, but like,
I gave you advice.
yeah, it was really nice.
Was my advice helpful?
Yeah, I mean, I asked a few people for advice, but nothing compares to the real thing.
Yeah.
So when I went on there, like, I felt the shakiness, and even my voice, like, it felt shaky, and it was hard for me at first to even deliver jokes in the beginning, because I was just like, fuck. But then I realized if you're really just yourself, like my awkward self, like I looked at someone, I was like, shit, I don't know where to look. Like you keep staring at me and now I feel bad. And now I feel bad like you have to listen to everything I'm saying because you just have to, because we're making eye contact, so you have to keep nodding. I feel so like, I don't know where to look. Should I look up here? And then they start laughing. You're like, oh, cool, I can just be myself.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
Nice.
Also, people think it's harder to be funny on stage. When you're on stage, you actually have such an advantage of being funny because they like the audience knows and like appreciates that it's like a crazy situation. Like they give you get way more benefit of the doubt.
They do?
Being funny on stage than off stage.
I feel like people don't understand
I've
how hard
tried telling
it is.
jokes off stage, like when I was younger, like when I first started doing comedy, people would be like, tell me a joke. I don't even do jokes.
Oh,
like,
I hate when people do
like
that.
it's the worst thing ever. It's like the number one, and I've gotten that thousands of times. When I was younger, I used to like try and say a joke because they just had no boundaries or something. And I'd bomb every single time. Like people would just stare at me and be like, oh. And you want to do that for a living?
You're like, your mom. You're like, what?
Yeah, exactly. It's like crazy. I'm like, jokes are for fucking morons.
But people do that. Well, people also don't understand comedians are like the worst people to want to meet in real life. They're all depressed.
Yeah, we're all
like everyone's always like,
miserable.
I want to date a comedian guy. I'm like, are you joking? He'll ruin your life. That guy's probably a sociopath. No offense.
Oh, that's
like
fine.
he's probably like super depressed because it's like depression. They get on stage and like, hey guys, I've been saving all my energy for the stage, and then they leave again. They're like,
that's kind of true. Like, because off stage I'm like kind of more serious and I'm more like cerebral and thoughtful, and so people often tell me they're like I can't believe you're like a comedian. You're like so serious. I'm just like, well, first of all, that's not true because when I'm around funny people, I'm funny. So like if I'm serious around you, that just means that like
it's your energy. So just blame everyone else.
It's everyone else's.
Like, that joke's not funny. You're like, well, that's because you're not funny.
Yeah,
so.
it's because you're a dumb fucking boomer and you don't understand like subtlety and appreciate. People are like, tell me you haven't been funny all day. I'm like, I've said like 9,000 funny things and they've gone all over your head. Oh. I'm aiming this at a specific conversation.
Yeah. Okay, so I didn't take offense. Like I said, no social cues. I don't even realize it was towards me. Yeah, life just gets so much easier when you just don't take things personally. Okay, so the girl, she waits forever. I meet her and she comes up to me and she goes, so whoever is listening, the way I became popular on the internet is I'm known as Daddy Issues on the internet. I even have a trademark. So I started with a meme account called Daddy Issues. That's like my OG thing. Yeah. So anyway, and Vanity Fair named me Meme Queen. So it's like my title.
Oh, that's why it's in your bio. Right?
Yeah, although other people have tried to use it, it's like I'm the OG meme queen, whatever. Yeah. So this girl comes up to me and she goes, by the way, my friends call me meme queen too. And I go, oh shit, then you gotta go. Haha, I'm like, just kidding. And then she's like, there's room for all of us. And I was just like, you know what? I'm like, I'm so tired. I'm so sorry. I'm just kidding. Because this is like how I am in real life. I was like, I'm so sorry. Hold on. I was like, I'm just joking. And she goes, like, all of us can sit at the table. And I was just like, okay, my bad. I'm like, anyway, did you enjoy the show? How was it? And she goes, it was okay.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I know. I'm like, trust me. If anyone's going to be the hardest on themselves, it's me. I know. I didn't know what I was doing. Thank you so much for staying through. And she goes, you know, I was supposed to leave town this morning, but I stayed an extra day for your show. And I'm like, oh, okay. Oh my God, no, I'm so sorry. She's like, I have a lot of feedback.
I bet you she's a good meme queen because she's awkward like you're awkward.
She wasn't awkward.
She was insane.
She was a cunt.
She sounds insane, yeah.
But I didn't take it personally. For me, it's funny. Luckily.
Here's what you should have done. This
if
where
I
you
had
messed up.
Well, yeah, I didn't finish. So how would you know?
Okay,
how would you know?
Hear it. I'll tell you.
So I was like, because I don't take it personally. I already finished the worst thing that could have happened to me that night. Like, for me, it was over. And I even explained in my own podcast, no one can make me feel worse than I can make myself feel. Yeah. So I already was in my head. When I finished the show, my brain right away, I was like, shit, I went 30 minutes extra. I bombed. I should have done this, all that. Like, I'm already the meanest to myself. Yeah. So no one else could have said anything to ruin my night.
Can you stand this way just a little bit?
So anyway, so then she's like, well, I have some feedback. And I go, okay, do you want to DM it to me? Like, you can just like DM me your feedback. She goes like this. She goes, well, I guess you look like you can take it. And I was just like, okay, do you want to just give me... And by the way, there's a long-ass line, too. Yeah. And my agents are also sticking around, which I didn't even know. That was really nice. So I'm like, okay, sure, what is it? And she goes, well, I guess, like, one thing it was, like, some of the things you were saying, like I've heard it before, but maybe it's because like I'm very intuitive or something, but I was like, I've heard this, and I was like, yeah, I feel like some of the advice, and I was like, not my jokes, my advice, and I go, no, I get that. I'm like, maybe you heard in my other episodes in my podcast. She goes, oh no, babe, I don't listen to your podcast. Like, who has time for that? But I go, well, hopefully the people who showed up to my show, I'm like, this was my podcast show.
Yeah.
I was like, it's fine. I'm like, whatever. I'm like, don't worry about it, babe. I'm like, do you want a picture? And she goes, yeah, I guess. It's like, what?
Wow. See,
So then,
she sounds like she's got something.
no, but that's what I saw on my podcast. Like,
Yeah.
it didn't offend me. Thank God. Like, thank God I was the hardest on myself.
Yeah.
But like, imagine if I was already feeling low, she would have really knocked me down. Luckily,
Yeah.
I just did my episode on 4 ways to self-love, so I
Yeah.
was able to know who the fuck I am for that not to destroy me. Thank God. But I also understand now, people like that are hurting. Like,
Yeah.
why else would you sit through an hour and a half show that you didn't enjoy,
Yeah.
then stand an hour to talk to me, and then that's your feedback? It's like, what, you did this for what? Like, even if she went home and she was just like, oh, I told her off, blah, blah, like, if that's the best thing to happen to you that year, that week, whatever, like, I feel so bad for you because it didn't do anything for me.
Yeah. Here's where you went wrong.
Okay.
You were super nice to her. You should have said, listen, bitch, I'm the mean queen.
It doesn't,
And you should said, let's show me your account.
but why would I do that when she's obviously already low?
You should have stomped her down.
No, that's not my brand.
Prison
My brand
rules.
is to bring people up. And I know whenever I've tried to destroy people with my
Yeah.
words or things like that, I was feeling bad about myself. It always comes from a deeper area. So
Right,
if she feels
right.
low, she wants to give me feedback because it's so much easier to tell someone else what they're doing wrong than to focus on your own life. So
Yeah.
if anything, I felt sorry for her.
Yeah. But I think you would have given her more respect if you're like, I'm the meme queen. You're the meme fucking.
I don't need respect from her.
Mean
That's what you're not
nothing.
understanding. It makes no difference to me. It doesn't break me.
Right.
Why do I need respect? I just did a show at the Hollywood Improv.
Yeah.
She was a guest.
I
She
guess
paid
so.
money to come see me.
I guess so.
Where's,
I just think it'd be funnier if you said that.
I don't need to destroy people. I don't need to knock down someone that's already low.
I'll knock her down for you.
Yeah, you can go
Quit
ahead.
talking shit to my friends.
Yeah, that's better. Obviously, if I see someone shit talking to one of my friends, I
Yeah.
will go after them. But if someone shit talks to me, I find it funny. Like, it doesn't
Right.
bother me. It's like when I've had fights before with my friends, and they go, one time I had a friendship breakup, and she's just like, well, everyone hates you and you have no friends. And I was just like, okay.
Damn,
And
that's
she-
crazy.
It doesn't bother me. I was like, okay, like, everyone hates me. Cool. Now what? Like, what do you want me to do about it? That sounds like a them problem.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to change her. Like, what? So it doesn't bother me. But one thing, okay, here's advice if I was giving toxic advice.
Okay.
This is really good. I actually gave it on my improv night.
I want to tell you all my problems and get your feedback.
Well, maybe, call a therapist. That's one thing that people
I
do
don't
to
have-
me, and I'm like, maybe I'm not
insurance,
your
so-
therapist. People always like, I would love to tell you all my problems.
I
like,
think you're
why,
smarter than a
why do I need to
therapist.
take on all your problems?
Because you're smarter than a therapist.
Yeah,
that's
but I
why.
take on other people's emotions all the time. So that's why it's hard for me.
One
say
more.
from that.
You got room for one more person.
Okay, here's how you can knock someone down. When I was going through my friendship breakup,
Yep.
and the first thing she said to me was to try to bring me down, whatever. And she was just like, well, no one like you have no friends and everyone hates you. And I was just like, okay, cool, whatever. It didn't offend me because I don't care about that. Like,
Yep.
words don't hurt me. And that's what people don't realize. Just like we have love languages, where a lot of times I'll show you love by the way I want to receive love back.
Yep.
People don't realize the same thing happens in fights. The way I will hurt you is the way that would actually hurt me. So that's one mistake. If I was a toxic queen, that she would have just told me exactly how to hurt her. What would hurt her the most, because she's such a social, outgoing person, is if everyone hated her and she had no friends. Because
Yeah.
she needs so many friends. For me, that's actually not how you can hurt me, because it doesn't bother me. I hang out alone all the time, so I love it.
Right.
And I also know that I'm a very social person. It doesn't affect me. It makes no difference. Well, I'm a very serious person in those situations with friends, and I'll be like, if they keep going, I don't react back. And then I'll say, are you sure you want to go there? Because once you cross that line, we can't go back from it.
Yeah.
And then she did. And then I said, okay, well, this is where we part ways. Sorry. And then I stopped talking to her completely. And that indifference is so much more painful than trying to hurt someone. Because I know when someone is mad at me,
they
I'm
want
just
a
like, wow, they're
reaction.
so passionate. They like, I really hurt them. But when someone is indifferent towards me, like that would hurt me. I'd rather you love me or hate me, but like completely just not care if I exist.
Oh yeah,
like,
that's true. Yeah.
But that's for me. Like I'm telling you, like what I did to her is what would kill me.
Like, okay, yeah, let's say you broke up with somebody and there was like, whatever, whatever. And they just like didn't even react or do anything. That would hurt you more than if they said something mean.
Like the fact that me and my person, we stopped dating, we parted ways, and then I was still experiencing different emotions, and then I accidentally did say something mean to him. Yeah. Because he was like, why can't we just be on good terms? Yeah. And that actually pissed me off, because I'm just like, do you not give it, like in my brain it felt like, do you not give a shit about me? Like you can just completely be on good terms with me? And then I said something really rude. I mean, we made up sense, but like looking back now, if he would have said the same sentence I said to him, that would probably really hurt me. So like I think it does make sense that you hurt people the way it would hurt you.
How long were you with this person?
Not that long. It's just sometimes you have those blah blah blah, throw up, gag. You think you have some
that's like that's all my relationships.
Connection, blah blah. But it's not that. When I was sad over it, one thing that I realized, I wasn't hurting as much over losing this person, because first of all, they always come back. Yeah. You just have to tell yourself they're going to come back, and then they do. We create our own reality.
It's true. Every ex has just come back to me ever.
Same. Yeah. So you just have to be like, once you stop worrying about it, there's somewhere I've seen it where it's, if anyone believes in universe stuff, it's basically you're sending waves to wanting someone to think about you, but you keep thinking about them. So it's kind of like back then when we used to have regular home phones. Yeah. If I keep calling you, you can't call me back because the phone's busy. Right. So that's what I'm doing with my brain. I'm keep sending them, and I keep saying like, the person doesn't love me. They don't care about me. Blah blah. That's what I'm telling the universe. So they don't. Right. But the minute you say, okay, this person will come back, obviously, why wouldn't they? They're obsessed with me, even if it's not true. That's it. Okay, now I can move on with my life. You stop thinking about it. You hung up the phone. And it's always when you stop thinking about someone, the line is now free. It's no longer busy. And that's when they're able to call you telepathically and start thinking about you. And that's when they suddenly reach out or whatever. And you were exactly correct. But
are you familiar with attachment theory?
Yeah, are you talking about?
I feel like this would be right up your alley. I just started reading a book called Attached. It's about attachment theory.
Oh, the different types of attachment styles? Yeah, but
apparently it's like one of the few established things in psychology.
I started reading it, but then I got kind of bored. Maybe I should finish it. What's your attachment style?
Anxious.
Anxious?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mine's avoidant.
Oh yeah, for sure you're avoidant.
How can you tell? Does it like to be alone a lot?
Yeah. Apparently, just everybody in general is more likely to date an avoidant because they're like 25% of the population, but they're always going through relationships, so they're dating. Like secure people are just like, they just get partner up and they're
But
not.
I think it changes over the years, because I one time interviewed someone about it, and then they disagree with me, but I disagree with them, because I was like, wait, but I have secure attachment styles with like my friends, my family members now. It's only people I date. And the last guy I dated, I actually had a secure attachment style with him. He had the opposite. I was either anxious or avoidant, one of those two, whatever. And I started going through my avoidant attachment styles when we parted ways. One thing that I realized, I was like, wait, am I really hurting because this person and I are not together? Or am I suddenly hurting because I'm experiencing abandonment issues and I'm starting to go back at every person that's ever left me and I'm taking out on this person? And I was like, oh shit, that's what's happening. But I think now we also look too much into it. Like, he was really into that stuff. And I think that is how you ruin now dating, or you ruin your days. If you're like, I should be really happy right now and I'm not experiencing full happiness with this person. Yeah, because it's life. You're not going to be obsessed with this person every day. But then you get in your head and you're like, wait, it irritated me when they said this. Does that mean, maybe because you're wasting too much time and you're not enjoying the other person. And that's how people now part ways, because like, well, maybe there's someone out there that just ticks all my boxes. Right. And it's like kind of like...
Yeah, that's an avoidant thing.
It's not just an avoidant thing, it's a human being thing, and it's kind of like...
No, but certain people bring out like childhood trauma in other people.
Well, that's where the soulmates and soul twin flame and all that comes in, it's kind of
yeah,
like...
that's all nonsense.
No, I believe in it. Sometimes you meet people and you're just like, whoa, I feel so connected to you. You feel like home.
Yeah.
But the home is not the safe home. Like if you come from trauma, or you come from one of your parents didn't really give you enough love,
right.
that's why that person feels like home.
Right.
It's reminding of one of your parents.
This is why I'm bringing up the secure. The whole reason I brought that up is because they're talking about how like your mental circuitry that attaches you to a partner is the same circuitry that attaches to your primary caregiver when you're a baby. Your brain repurposes that, and so I had a crazy childhood, and so it just gets like repurposed. Okay, so.
Well, okay, why do you think guys are so drawn for whatever reason? As much as guys are always like, I don't want drama, I don't want this. I have noticed guys always come back to girls that are a little, not, I wouldn't say unstable, but like in their own way. I'm not saying full on crazy, but it does feel like sometimes like the nice girls get kind of forgotten, and guys dump the nice girls so much easier, and then the girls who have like all the emotions and they make you feel, and I was trying to do research about it, I was trying to understand. What is that?
I literally read this. I'm like, I'm one of these people that will read the beginning of a book and then talk about it with everybody because I'm trying to like process it. Anxious people and avoidant people often date each other, right? And then there's secure people, and secure people are fine. And sometimes if you're anxious or avoidant and you meet a secure person, like a nice girl or something like that, and you're like, this person's hot, into me, check like every box, and I'm just like not into them for some reason, right? It's because they're not activating like your attachment style, like they're not activating all the bad shit, you know what I mean? So your brain confuses the anxiousness or the avoidanceness for love. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I guess that does make sense. Or usually when someone leaves me is when I suddenly am like, what if I did love them?
Right.
Like while we're dating, I just love the attention, and I always like them a little less. And the minute they leave, I'm like,
if somebody makes you
what
feel
if it was
really,
the one?
Right. If somebody makes you feel really calm all the time, very often you're like, yeah, why am I just not really
But then
into this
people
person.
should work on that, because that was actually that pisses
that's
me
what
off.
I'm
Because
working
then
on too.
I don't want to go backwards just because of some idiot that. Because the last person I dated, I was very secure in the dating. I was just like continuously just stayed really calm. And then I think towards the end, like when we parted ways, I just finally snapped. And I think my real side started to come out. And this guy was like, where's this coming from? Like, the way you're handling it is so blah, blah. And I'm thinking like, I'm sorry, who wrote the fucking book on how I'm supposed to handle something?
Right.
Like, I helped your emotions feel safe. You had a safe space. Like, guess what? I have a lot of emotions that I hold in. Yeah. Because people just always expect me to just always do the right thing because of what I do for a living. And I'm very calm through a lot. But, like, for me, it's because every day I take on everyone else's emotions. So I almost don't have the space and the time to allow myself, which I've been trying to work through, how to allow myself to experience my emotions. And even when I was dating this person, it was like, I can't help it but be like a caregiver in a way. Right. It's like me helping this person through their emotions. So then suddenly when we parted ways, all my shit's starting to come out, and I don't know why I'm experiencing what I'm experiencing, and I just am going with it. And suddenly it's like, where is this coming from? Well, bitch, it's been there.
Some women are like not into guys unless they like cheat on them or something.
No, I get what you're saying, because like the last guy, I felt overly safe, and I was a little bored.
Interesting.
But I'm learning that is what I need. Like, it's kind of actually nice sometimes to not constantly live in anxiety every day. Because you're like, is this person going to cheat on me? Like my ex-boyfriend, like all the time. Well, actually, he was cheating on me all the time, and I actually didn't know. Wow. I think I knew. Right. But I just didn't want to know. Like, he used to prank me that he was cheating on me with the girls he was cheating on me with.
I think women don't want a guy to cheat. They want to know he can, though, for sure. They want to know he can whenever he wants. I think the women you're dating. I don't. No. I think that's just women in general. Women are hypergamous.
Well, I think some women.
I've been watching a lot of sexist podcasts on YouTube.
No, I think Well, so just like when I give dating advice for women about men. I don't.
You see, I never listen to women's dating advice. No. Women don't know how to
so let me
give
tell
dating
you,
advice.
I read books written by men. Okay. That's why I give good dating advice to women.
Oh,
because the books are written by men.
Yeah.
So now, if I'm telling you how women are, it's coming from a woman's perspective. Yeah, so you should probably listen.
Okay,
don't listen for a guy's perspective. What the fuck do they know? We lie half the time. We don't mean half the shit we say.
Interesting. And you don't even realize it. You just say it.
Yeah. I say shit all the time, and then, like,
Well,
the people I date take it so seriously, and I'd be like, what are you talking about when I say that?
Yeah, no, the thing is, I think if you're like in touch with your feminine, you'll just kind of, I'm not saying this as like women are liars. I'm saying like if you're like a very feminine person, you're fully in the moment, right? And so you'll just say stuff that's in the moment, but it's not like that could change the next day.
I don't think it has to do with feminine and
as, like, a
masculine. I
masculine-
think some people just, I do, for the longest time, I feel like I always feel bad about that too, because when I'm really excited about someone,
Yeah.
especially now because I'm more open with my feelings or touch,
Yeah.
it was like a struggle. Like I always wanted to like hug my partner or whatever, and I just didn't know how to do that because I didn't grow up with hugs or anything or saying I love you until I was older when I decided to start in my family. But now it's like so nice to be able to act on my instincts. So it is hard when I like someone. In that moment, I can be like, oh my God, I like you so much. Like, you have such pretty eyes. Oh my God, you're so cute. You're so pretty. But then like, and then I freak out because then the next day I'm like, fuck, but like, what if tomorrow I don't think like that anymore? And then I
Right.
get scared that I'm going to hurt the person because I meant it in that moment. And now people call it like love bombing and
That's why
things
you
like
need
that.
a man to just tell you what you want.
I think I have very masculine energy, so that's also a problem. I feel like I probably attract like more feminine men, which I like.
Interesting. You think you have more masculine energy.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you're kind of like a boss chick. You're like successful. You own a house. You all
like,
that
all
stuff.
my guys are friends.
So that's probably got to be a struggle for you then.
All my friends are nice. I'm like, not like other girls. No, I'm kidding. I have both.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah. You like you're the sports chick, right?
No, I do not give a shit about sports. No. But it's
you
I
you
play
always
video
post
games.
That. You're always posting about how you like sarcastic how you love sports.
Yeah,
and I
'cause I
said like
don't.
women who like pretend to like sports are like male feminists. It's like the same thing.
Right, when a guy's like, no, I'm a feminist, and they wear the shirt like women first, like fuck off.
Yeah, just when I show me a male feminist.
When a guy's
I'll
like,
show you
I'm
a-
a nice guy, that's how you know the guy is like a rapist.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm a nice guy. I'm not like other guys. I'm a nice guy. And then you reject them, and you're like, why are you rejecting me, you fucking bitch?
Right.
I'm a nice guy.
Yeah,
like,
it's like,
okay.
oh, okay.
Cool.
When I first started dating my ex, I was like, the very first date, I was like, I'm sexist. I was like, I'm just a very sexist
fuck.
guy.
Okay.
And then it slowly got revealed that I wasn't. So it was like a nice
Oh.
surprise. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
started the bar really low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like to tell guys my hobbies because a lot of times we have similar hobbies, so I actually prefer not to.
What are your hobbies?
Like a lot of times the
You
guys
just
that I
work.
date,
You don't have hobbies.
I do.
No, you don't.
Well, I like doing puzzles. I like escape rooms. I like magic.
Oh,
I can play
okay.
video games because I grew up playing it with my dad because he
Yeah.
always wanted a son. And then he was like so disappointed.
That's like
when
such a Russian thing to tell their daughter that they just wanted a son.
Well, he wasn't even there when my mom gave birth because it was a daughter, and he was like, "What's the point?" I'm not even kidding. He was at work, and he was so disappointed. So after me, he was like, "I'm done with kids," and it's like, who are you really gonna blame? It's your
That's so
sperm.
fucking funny.
If men have girls as kids, like that's your sperm. It's your
Right.
fault.
Yeah, that's,
So
you're-
you have
got
a weak
chick sperm.
You have a weak sperm. But my dad raised my sister and I to be pretty tough. And so my dad always wanted a son, so I kind of grew up playing video games. That's the only time we would talk. My dad would be in town. We'd
Yeah.
play video games. So I grew up playing them, and like my dad likes puzzles. Guess who started doing puzzles without realizing? Just desperate for her dad's love. Me. I do puzzles. I love math. My dad
And
used
you have
to
an
win
Instagram account called Daddy Issues.
math competitions in Russia. So of course I tutored math for 10 years
Yeah.
before I became an accountant. I love escape rooms. Well, like I love magic and things like that. My dad doesn't care for it. But like one time I thought my dad would be really into, I forgot the name of this author. I just assumed maybe Stephen King or something. I bought every book by Stephen King and I started reading it and I was just like, my dad's gonna think it's so cool. My dad was like, oh, I don't care for that guy. And I was like, fuck.
You're like, I don't even like him either. Fuck.
Like, no, but Stephen King's books, so like this thick.
I know.
And I was like, fuck. So, but I've worked through that, needing that validation for men.
There you go.
But do you believe that some people have different type of like energy?
Oh yeah.
Like some men have more feminine energy,
Yeah.
some women have more masculine or feminine energy.
Yeah. On a feminine masculine scale, where do you put me? I'm like probably the most masculine, right?
Well, because I feel like you want to prove it so much, it's probably like the opposite. Yeah. I actually love guys who are in their feminine energy. Like this one guy that I dated, he was so fucking hot and he had the biggest dick. Fuck, I miss that guy. But this guy, like I had a Daddy Issues sweatshirt and it was cropped with pink thing, and he was just like, because he knows he's just walking around with like 9-inch between his legs, girth, gray, anyway, also beautiful. He was just like, oh, I love that sweatshirt. I was like, let me give you a regular sweatshirt. He goes, no, I want one like yours. And he like wanted me to crop one so you can put on. And like a guy confident like that, he was the type of guy that I'm sure I can paint his nails just for fun, and he would let me. Like guys like that, I'm like, oh my God, I'm obsessed with you. I dumped him, and then a few days later, he like never responded, said nothing. And I kept thinking about it, and then I realized I made a mistake. That's why, and I literally in my episode, 4 Ways to Self-Love, I say, if someone doesn't know what they want, leave. So it's always not fun when your advice works against you.
Right.
So then I was just like, I think he really won this game. Then I was just like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean what I said. I think I'm just so confused. I think you're amazing. I think you're this. And then it was like a voice note telling him how great he is. And then he's like, okay, I appreciate you saying all that. It's fine. I thank you for the apology. And I was like, well, and I said, can we start over as friends? Maybe I shouldn't have said that. And he's like, of course, fresh start. And I was like, amazing. He ghosted me. And honestly, brilliant.
Badass.
Brilliant. Because, it took me like a week or two to realize I was being ghosted because I'm so in my own space that I didn't realize. I was like texting him, sitting and thinking how cute and great we are until we hang out. I was like, oh, when I have free time, like I can't wait to see you. And then I was like, oh shit. And I remember I texted him, I was like, wait, are you ghosting me? And he didn't respond. But it's like, I ran into him, like, I manifested that I was going to run into him on New Year's, and then I did.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw him, and I thought it was going to be like, you know, now we haven't seen each other for a month or two. And I was like longing for him after he ghosted me. I was just like, he's the one. And then, you know, like I missed out on the best guy, and then I see him, and we're hanging out that night, and I'm drunk, and I look at him, and I was like, you know what? I fucking hate you. I can't stand you. And he's like, wow, you're handling everything so well. He's so funny. And I was like, I should work on myself. I was like, I need to work on myself.
That's fucking hilarious.
But that's also, so, you know, don't take back people that take you for granted. Because
Yeah.
then they long for you, and then look what I did. Obviously, he wasn't my person.
But you said I hate you because you wanted him, though, right?
I think I was, like, hurt that he ghosted me, but I deserved it.
Right.
I thought it was, like, that was a pretty cool move. I don't know. I don't understand dating anymore. I'm kind of over it right now.
Here's the problem with dating is because the whole dating thing is like just make-believe nonsense. Traditional values are where it's at. That's what I think.
I'm going to kill myself with this fly. Can we go inside?
Yeah. Yes, I think this dating thing is just like make-believe. I think it's all nonsense. This whole Sex in the City, Friends, Seinfeld, I think it's like bad for society and bad for people. And I think
everyone has different standards, and you should just do what works for you. Like for me, I'm really into chivalry.
Yeah.
And as much as people say chivalry's dead, like it's fine. You don't have to date everyone. Like
I'm chivalrous.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like
I open the door, pick up, make the plans, do everything.
I like all that.
So you're talking to a guy?
So I was talking to some guy, and he lived like in Venice, so really far away from me, whatever. I go, yeah, for me, I like him when a guy picks me up, plans a date, blah, blah. And he goes, really? Like, we can't meet halfway for a first date, or I can't, like, you can't just come to Venice because there's so, and I was just like, look, there are so many other people in this world
Sounds like
that
a
you
guy
can
that
date.
wants to get pegged.
Well, I'm like, there's so many other people you can date.
Yeah.
It's totally fine. I'm telling you my standards. Like, I'm telling you from the beginning what I'm into.
Yeah.
That's what I'm into, and I believe that's how I want to get taken care of. Obviously, if it's not for you, that's fine. Never took me out, so obviously it wasn't for him, but I didn't get offended. I was like, good. Like, the trash took itself out.
Yeah.
Does not bother me. It didn't make me feel like, oh, wow, I'm not even worth a day. I'm just like, oh, thank God I didn't even care to go out with this guy. A few months later, he, like, hit me up, and he was just like, hey, I just got out of something, so do you want to try this again? Like, I never responded. Because he told me exactly who he was the first time.
Yeah.
Like, he can't even make the effort to drive to pick me up. Like, okay.
I'm like almost more chivalrous for me. It's like just makes me feel good to be just like the man, show up and do all that shit. You know what I mean? And I'm not even, some women mistake it for like, oh, this guy's like a little too desperate. I'm like, no, I'm doing this for me. Yeah. Shit, like low quality woman would low
quality women, you do listen to a lot of sexist podcasts to say that. It's like, it's literally when you make fun of bros who do podcasts, they start with, well, low quality women, they... So that's what you just did.
I've been listening to so much of that shit lately.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sexist now. Is that cool?
I don't care. Live your life. I don't care.
No, but I'm chivalrous. I think the next relationship I have is just, will be like a very traditional one. I'll be like, hey, you want to move in? I'll pay your bills. Like, cook for me, clean, support me, cheer me on, all this stuff. And I'm like, hey, okay. I'm sorry, I'm jumping all over the place, but I read this like nonsense article from some like feminist lady, and she was like, it's not the woman's job to like emotionally nurture the man or something. I'm like, that's literally your role.
I think it depends. I think the reason she's coming from that part is because nowadays women also work. A lot of relationships, both partners work. So
my next girlfriend isn't going to have a job.
No, that's fine. So that's a different role. But back then, women stayed at home. So their job literally, they couldn't even vote. So their job literally was to clean the house, to do all that. Nowadays, women also work. So then to still expect the same treatment where the woman also comes home from work, she's super tired, she has to take care of the kids, then she has to clean and cook for you and suck your dick. Like that's a little, like there's two incomes in this household. Yeah. But one thing I think people are weird about is that they get upset on either opinion. Everyone has the relationship that works for them. Like we shouldn't put anyone down. Like my dad is that's the type of relationship he has, where my mother is a housewife and she takes care of him, and that works for them. Right. Even though she has a degree and all that. Like that's how their marriage works. That's fine. Dope. Like I also believe, and I've learned that now, is that you can't be everything for just you. No one can be everything for you. So to expect even your partner to be everything for you, it's impossible.
No, just half.
Yeah, but even emotional support, if your partner didn't go through the same specific trauma that you went through, there may be an area where you're gonna be like, why do you not get me when I'm triggered by this? And she's like, well, I didn't experience
there's
this.
Just like, I just think if you're like a very feminine woman, just your just general presence and everything should be like a very like nurturing, healing, soothing thing to be around, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm that feminine, and that's pretty much how I am.
I think you're feminine.
Really?
Yeah. I think you have like you put up a front.
Well,
but I think you're secretly like a super feminine, soft, sweet person.
Wouldn't say secretly. Like I think that is part of me as well. Right. But I'm very the type of person that like uplifts my partner, and I take on their issues, and I want to fix everything. But I'm also
good quality.
Yeah, but also like I kind of would expect that from my partners as well. I don't think I usually sometimes get that.
Right.
That's the problem.
Okay, now, but the men have a role too, though, as a masculine man.
As a provider.
Like they have to provide. They have to be like the emotional like rock too. Like men have to be like the stable support, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Like a man's job is to be like calm and stable when times are bad, right? And then a woman's job is to be like healing. You see, these are all these new ideas.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm not gonna go against what. I think it's weird when people get upset and they start to yell at each other because they don't agree. Like that's what works for you in your relationship, so you're gonna find that right partner for you.
We weren't on the brink of yelling.
No,
at
I know,
each other.
but as a woman, I know a lot of women that would get upset by what you're saying.
Really?
But yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, not everyone wants the type of relationship you're looking for.
Right.
That's fine.
Right. I'm more just. Articulating this idea. I'm workshopping this idea with you together.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely want different things in partnership. Yeah. I look for like my equal.
Yeah.
Like that's important for me.
So if I'm looking for someone who's beneath me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not. I think men and women have worked side by side together forever.
No, it's different. When I say I'm looking for my equal, it means that Like, I don't want to quit my job. Like, I'm looking
course.
for,
Why
like,
would
I
you
want a
live in-
power
you know,
couple.
right.
Like, that's what I look for. So sometimes if I can't date a guy doesn't have goals or is not motivated.
Yeah.
Because I need someone, I'm like, I don't mind sharing the stage, and I also don't mind to not be in the spotlight. Like, I love it to sometimes not be in the spotlight. And I'll support my partner immensely because I want them to be the best. One time I couldn't date a guy because I was talking to his friends. We were all hanging out. And the friends started talking shit about the guy. Because it was like rude. She was just making jokes that he's like gay and whatever else.
Yeah.
It's like, we get it. He probably doesn't like you the way you liked him. I don't give a shit. Not my issue.
Right.
I also don't care if my partner has female friends. Don't care.
Right.
But like, it was such a turnoff for me to see his best friends make fun of him to a potential partner. Because I was like, do you not hold yourself to high regard? And then when I told him, he like laughed it off, and I was kind of like,
yeah, I think that would actually be super.
It was a big turn off for me.
Like, I would never, if I had a date and if I had like, if I brought a new girl around my friends, and my friends were like talking shit to me, I would fucking
About
smack
you.
them. I'd be like, bro, you don't
yeah,
fucking.
it's like,
you
your
don't
friends don't
fucking
respect
do
you.
that.
How can I date
Like,
you?
if
you don't respect yourself.
Oh, absolutely. If I have a friend and he brings his new girl around, I'm gassing my friend up.
Right.
I'm only like being like, oh yeah, this guy's the fucking man. Like, only like good shit. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that means that guy probably doesn't really command any respect at all.
Yeah, but like, for other people, that's okay. They may like that because he
Yeah.
had some feminine quote unquote energy, which I liked. But you can be in your feminine energy and still have friends that respect you. So that, for me, that was kind of like, I can't walk around forcing everyone to respect my partner. It's embarrassing. I think people sometimes think because my personality is can come off aggressive.
Oh,
that
I
means
see right through it.
I'm like that with my partner, but I'm actually very, like, more like I like to gas my partner up, and I like to be more feminine with my partner, and like let my partner take control. Because at work, I always take control, but with a partner, I'm kind of like, whatever you want, like, I don't care.
Yeah.
So that's more my thing.
Violet, thanks
Yeah.
for being on my podcast.
Thank you so much for having me on. Listen
Hell
to
yeah.
my podcast,
Yeah.
Almost Adulting, on every Tuesday and Thursday, and follow Daddy Issues and Almost
Daddy
Adulting.
Issues and Violet Benson's
Yeah.
personal account too.
Thanks. Ciao.
Fuck yeah.
All right.
That was great. That was really good.